Somewhere inside you, right now, is a message from a human who lived hundreds of thousands of years ago. Nobody has ever found this person's bones. No museum has their skull on a shelf. And yet scientists just proved they existed by reading your DNA, like a diary nobody knew you were keeping. This week, researchers announced they've found not one, but two hidden ancestors buried inside modern human genomes. They're calling them ghosts. You've probably heard that some people carry Neanderthal DNA. That part isn't new. Tens of thousands of years ago, our species, Homo sapiens, crossed paths with Neanderthals in Europe and Asia, and yes, they had children together. Most people whose ancestors came from outside sub-Saharan Africa carry about 1 to 2% Neanderthal DNA today. Scientists later found a second set of relatives too, called Denisovans, known mostly from a few finger bones and teeth found in a Siberian cave. People from Oceania, the Pacific Islands region, can carry anywhere from a fraction of a percent up to 6% Denisovan DNA. So we already knew our family tree had a couple of extra branches. The new study says there are more. And this time, scientists didn't need a single bone to prove it. Here's the problem researchers have always faced. Ancient DNA only survives in cold, dry places for a limited amount of time. That means huge parts of human history, Africa, tropical regions, anything older than a few 100,000 years, are basically invisible to scientists because the DNA itself rotted away millennia ago. So a team at the University of California, Berkeley, led by geneticist Priya Morjani, tried something different. Instead of digging for ancient bones, they built a tool that digs through the DNA of living people. It's called TRACE, and think of it like reconstructing a family tree using only the descendants, no photographs of the great-great-great-grandparents required, just careful detective work on who resembles who and how closely. The team mapped tiny stretches of DNA across more than 500 human genomes from around the world, tracing each stretch back through time to find out how old it really was. Most of your DNA connects to a fairly recent common ancestor, but every so often the team found a stretch that traced back much, much further than it should, a sign that piece came from somewhere else entirely. The first ghost showed up everywhere. In African genomes, in European genomes, in Asian genomes. Every single population the team studied carried a small piece of DNA, somewhere between 0.5% and 1% of the genome, that traced back to an unknown population that split off from our ancestors roughly 800,000 years ago, right around the same time the Neanderthal and Denisovan lineages branched off too. The team's best evidence says this mystery group interbred with early humans. In Africa, more than 50,000 years ago, before our ancestors ever left the continent. That's a big deal, because it means this ghost's DNA rode along with every single wave of human migration that came after. It's in you, whether your ancestors stayed in Africa or eventually crossed oceans. So who was this population? Nobody knows for certain, but one leading guess, offered by outside experts who reviewed the study, is a species called Homo heidelbergensis, which lived in Africa and Europe for hundreds of thousands of years and may have stuck around in Africa until relatively recently. To be clear, that's an educated guess, not a proven identity. Nobody has matched this ghost to a skeleton. All we have is the shadow it left behind in living people's cells. The second ghost is even stranger. This one shows up almost exclusively in the genomes of people from Oceania, and it's ancient. The team estimates it split off from the rest of the human family nearly 1.8 million years ago. That's before Homo sapiens, before Neanderthals, before Denisovans even existed as separate groups. And here's the twist. This DNA doesn't look like it came directly into modern humans. It looks like it hitched a ride inside Denisovan DNA first, meaning this super archaic Population interbred with Denisovans long before Denisovans ever met us. One hint about its identity: skulls belonging to Homo erectus, found in Yunxian, China, share some features with Denisovan fossils. Homo erectus is the longest surviving human species we know of, spreading across Asia for well over 1 million years. Could this ghost be Homo erectus or something closely related to it? It's possible, but again, this is a trail of genetic breadcrumbs, not a signed confession. It's fair to ask, so what if some tiny sliver of my DNA came from a species nobody can name? Here's why scientists care. When the team mapped out exactly where in the genome this ghost DNA shows up, they found it wasn't scattered randomly. It clustered in genes, tied to the immune system and to metabolism, the systems your body uses to fight off disease and process food. That's the same pattern scientists have seen with Neanderthal and Denisovan DNA too. The leading idea is that when early humans had children with these other populations, they sometimes picked up genetic tricks that were already fine-tuned for local diseases, climates, or diets. A genetic head start passed down for free. Your body may still be quietly running code written by a species science hasn't even named yet. For a long time, people pictured human evolution as a single tree trunk, branching cleanly from ape ancestor to us. That picture has been getting messy for years, and this study pushes it further. Researchers now describe human history less like a tree and more like a web, separate populations splitting apart for hundreds of thousands of years, drifting across continents, and then meeting up again and mixing over and over. Interbreeding between different human species wasn't some rare, strange event. It looks like it happened routinely wherever different groups crossed paths. As one researcher on the team put it, hybridizing with other populations turns out to be the normal state of being human, not the exception. It's worth being honest about the limits here. This method is brand new, and it hasn't yet been independently repeated by other labs. Nobody has found a skeleton that definitively matches either ghost lineage, the Homo heidelbergensis and Homo erectus. Connections are informed speculation, not settled fact. And the second ghost DNA is almost vanishingly small, about 0.002% of the genome studied. So scientists are working with an extremely faint signal. What's exciting is that this same method can now be pointed at other underexplored regions, especially Africa and South Asia, where fossil evidence is thin, but living people's DNA is full of clues nobody has fully read yet. So the next time someone tells you where your ancestors came from, remember, nobody actually knows the whole story yet, not even the scientists. There are still branches of the human family we've never seen, known only because they left a signature in the DNA you're using to read this sentence right now. If scientists keep finding ghosts like this, how many more hidden relatives do you think are still waiting inside us? Completely unnamed?